This object is made by removing a small cone from a large cone as shown in this diagram. It's made from glass, and the glass has a density of 2.5 grams per centimetres cubed. And we need to work out the mass of the object, giving our answer to an appropriate degree of accuracy. Okay, so this is the object here, this part here. And as we can see in the diagram, what it describes in the question, it's made from taking a large cone and subtracting a smaller cone from it. So currently we've got lots of information for the large cone here, and we've got information for the final object, but we haven't got any information for the smaller cone. So that's what I need to work out first. So I'm going to abstract from this diagram. I'm actually going to make things easier. I'm actually going to look at a triangle. So we've got the larger triangle here and the smaller triangle here. Now we know from the diagram that the length of the whole larger triangle is 15 centimeters and the width is 12 centimeters. And the length of this portion here is 10 centimeters. So now from that we can work out this length here. And we can work out how long this is. And that's going to be 5 centimeters. And the reason for that is because we've done 15. Because we know the whole length of it is 15. We've got 10 here, so we know this must be 5. Because 15 take away 10 equals 5. Now what we can say is that these triangles are similar triangles. So this little one and the big one are similar triangles. Now if we think about this big triangle being 15, and this one being 5, I'm going to do 15 divided by 5. That's going to give us 3. So I can say, therefore, I can then say that the big triangle is 3 times the size of the small triangle. Now I can use that fact to work out this length here. So we know the width of the big triangle is 12 centimeters. We also now have worked out over here that the big triangle is 3 times the size of the small triangle. So this width here is 3 times smaller than this. Work it out. It's going to be 12 divided by 3, which is going to be 4. That's 4 centimeters. Great, so now we work that out. I'm going to label it on our diagram at the top. So we know this length here is 5 centimeters. And so the width of the triangle, so in this case it's going to be the diameter of the base, is 4 centimeters. So what we can now do is use this information to work out the volume of the cone, so both the big cone and the little one. So for the large cone, and it says the formula for the volume of the cone in the box above. So for the large cone, the volume is going to equal a third times by pi times by radius squared, and radius is half the diameter, so it's going to be 6 squared multiplied by h, which is 15. And put that into the calculator, we're going to get 180 pi. So I'm going to leave this pi here for the minute just to make it a bit easier. Next, we're going to do the same thing for the small cone. So we're going to have a third multiplied by pi, multiplied by the radius, that's half the diameter, so 2 squared, multiplied by the height, so of the small cone that's 5, and using the calculator that's 20 over 3 pi. Great, so we've got these key numbers here, and from that we can work out the volume of the final shape. So volume, and if we look up at the diagram, we can see the shape, we can see that the volume of this is the volume of the large cone subtracting the volume of the smaller cone. So doing that, we're going to have 180 pi, subtract from that 20 over 3 pi. So that's 520 over 3 pi. And actually I need to put the units in here because it's volume, it's centimeters cubed. Now in the last step, we're going to use this, that density is mass divided by volume. So the question asks us to work out the mass of the shape, and we know the density and the volume because the volume we just worked out and the density we told up in the question is 2.5 grams per centimetres cubed. So if I set this out, we're going to have 2.5 equals the mass divided by 520 over 3 pi. Now if I multiply both sides by this, we're going to have that the mass equals 2.5 multiplied by 520 over 3 pi. And working that out into the calculator, we get 1361.36 to 2 decimal places. And that's grams in this case. And the question asks for an appropriate degree of accuracy here. So I'm going to round this to the nearest gram. So it's going to be 1361. So we get the first mark in this box here. So using the similar triangle idea to work out the width here of being 4 centimeters. We get a second mark for using that to work out the volumes of the cone. We get another mark here for then using that to work out the volume of the shape. We get the next mark down here for going through the process, then use that to find out the mass. We get the final mark for the correct answer.